What is up, everybody? Coming at you with another devlog here. This is July 17th, 2025. Devlog for Roly Poly. And today I'm joined by James here.
Hello.
This is one of the other developers, also my brother, family dev team here. And what are we talking about today, James?
Today we're talking about the new map system we've recently implemented with tons of
Lovely.
improvements. Yes.
And what are we looking at right now?
Well, thought we'd introduce the old map system just so you have an idea of where we're starting from, and then we'll go into the new map system just to show off all the great new features we've added.
Sweet.
So, jump right into it. Here we've got the old version of the game, and I just want to show off what the map currently looks like. Pretty typical Metroidvania map. So this is like what the in-game view looks like. It's not bad. There's quite a few hidden limitations in here. So I'll go to the editor and show you what that looks like. Here's our old map system. It's kind of like a UI-based map editor, just using nodes in Godot. Each room here is represented by one of these nodes, and you can kind of define its shape and size just by a simple vector. So this one's 2 by 2. We can make it 1 by 1. But that's pretty much all you can do for changing how big the room is. So really, it has to be a rectangle. You can't have like an L shape or anything. So it's fairly limited there. You can also see this map also represents the connections between rooms. So we can see these lines here represent the doors. And that's just like another piece of data. We have like door nodes.
We actually like this map editor is used to represent it like in the UI, but then also it actually like to connect the doors. So like the code that runs like when you actually enter a door in the game references this to make sure you go to the next room correctly. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So if I
Okay.
enter in here, walking, jump room, door. Well, actually, let's see which one that goes through. So this is the node. Walking, jump room, door east connects to rolling room, door west. And in game, we can see that this room, this is the east door connects to the west door. Amazing.
So sick.
And you can see these rectangles here will show up, with the same size on the actual map in game. So it kind of maps it to the UI.
Yeah. And there's two interesting things about this old system, or three three things that kind of suck. One, setting that up is all pretty manual, like in the map editor, like adding the nodes and everything.
Yes.
So that was always a pain. Second thing is the scaling is all screwed up. So like the rooms like in the map editor, it's like a rectangle and it's like 2 by 2 or whatever. That doesn't really mean anything when you actually go to the room. So the actual room in the game could be any size. And then we have some weird cases where like the map doesn't really line up with the size of the room. Like could you go to the one in Kingdom Runes?
Yes. So we go to the main plaza here. This is the room itself. It's fairly large, but if you have to look at the map size, it's pretty big. It's getting killed by this guy. And the actual size of that this should be is way larger. Like these doors don't actually physically really make sense if you were to, stack these three rooms on top of each other. They shouldn't be this close together. So we have no system of like laying this out properly with this old map system.
My Wi-Fi totally died.
Yes,
Were you talking there?
I continued.
Love it.
I paused for a while,
Yeah,
but
let's
cut
go.
that out. I was like, what do I do next?
Devlog.
I forget. Anyway.
That's all good.
So, yeah, okay. Moving on to the new system. There we go. Wow, beautiful new map system.
Look at these non-rectangular rooms we have.
Yes, got L's, got little staircases.
It's beautiful.
It's very beautiful. So, yeah, this is the new map system. I'll show it off in game too. We'll start a new game just in case. You can see, it looks pretty similar in game, but there's some noticeable differences. One of them is you can actually see what tile you're in now as you move through the rooms. So
yeah, that was really cool. That was actually a small change, but it makes a pretty big difference when doing like room exploration, especially in these giant rooms. Because like previously you go into the room and it would show that the entire room was explored. Like it reveals the entire room, and then as a player it feels like, oh, I've already checked out the whole room, but in reality you haven't explored like most of the room yet.
Yeah, exactly. So now if I turn the reveal off, you can see that I've only explored half of this room, and as I move through it, you can see the other half show up. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's huge for Metroidvania.
Yeah, really adds a sense of like exploration to the game. So that was a huge improvement. And the other thing we were also able to do is show where items are on the map too, because now we kind of have more granular control over this stuff. So you can see, I'll just go over here. Let's get through this tutorial. I'm invincible, it's fine. And you can see,
love debug flags.
Got a nice little power up over here, and you can collect it and it'll update its icon, which is really cool. So
yeah, nice, just like Metroid.
Yeah, literally just Metroid. It's great. Yeah, and the way we did this is we had to. I had the idea to use a tile map instead to kind of define the borders. So rather than just like a square, you can kind of do anything now. And I'll just go to one of these test rooms, like this one.
Yeah, I think this is really cool because it's a tile map. I feel like typically I think of a tile map, I'm thinking like building out like levels and like platforms and stuff like that. But we're using it here to just draw the map.
Yeah,
makes it a lot easier.
Kind of makes sense. It's all tiles anyway. But you can see, you can kind of just make any shape you want. Obviously it's kind of up to the editor to, person editing it to make it, physically make sense. Whoops, I had two selected there. But yeah, you can kind of go crazy if you really want to. Make some like really interesting rooms, like this. Currently we actually don't have vertical door support, but you could put it in the map if you wanted. So yeah. And the other great feature about this is now, if I just save this room and I actually open the scene, the room borders are rendered in this editor view. So now I can actually line up things so they like physically, geometrically make sense. And I'll show an example of that in one of the old rooms that I updated. This guy here.
Yeah, this room used to be tiny.
Yeah, it used to be like,
and it didn't make any sense.
This big, and now it's this big, and it makes way more sense. So now the doors actually line up with the doors. As you move through the room, you'll like properly, be in the right tile on your map. It makes the room bigger too. Like I'm forced to design bigger rooms, which actually are more fun to traverse through. You just like need to take up the space. And you get more creative with like level elements, this like cool little bridge thing, kind of this little jumping area. I had to, put a little obstacle here. So overall, huge improvement there.
Yeah, I really liked it. I felt after you did this, the levels felt more like a proper Metroidvania, and like they had like a little constraint like this really helps with like level decorations and things like that.
Yeah, it gives you something to like start from as well, which is really nice, instead of just staring at a blank slate.
That's always tough. You just like draw like a box and you're like, I don't know what to put in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Put some vines. I don't know.
Yeah. So we have this, yeah, something to work off there. Uh, the other thing, the kind of some implications of upgrading a map system, and this is any like living software project you're going to deal with this is we've upgraded the system, but all of our data is old, so we have to like migrate everything. And there's a lot of rooms in here, so I'm not going to update every room at once because that's just like a huge undertaking. So certain rooms I've changed because I'm like kind of already in there adding new areas. I'm like, I'm here, I'll make the change. But other rooms I've just like tried my best to make the map fit. So if you look, let's go to the melee room. Like this isn't correct, but it's good enough. I've positioned the borders so that if you're by this door, you're going to be in the top left. If you're by this door, you're going to be in the top right, etc. And just kind of sort of made it work. I'll eventually revisit this room, but for now, this is good enough for gameplay testing and stuff. Some rooms are a little more egregious. This one in the lab literally had to squish it to fit.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. Because that bottom section was like, there's 4 doors in this room, but it was not
they're way too close
big
together.
enough, right?
Yeah,
or way too close. Yeah, yeah.
like if I were to unsquish it, this is the real size of the room, which is way bigger than what we actually have. So
that's crazy.
We're just gonna do that for now. I mean, like when you go to the room in the game, oops, I have to turn the debug flag on. Okay. Here, I'm at this door. I'm at this door. And go here, this is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, it does actually line up.
Yeah.
That's nice that the squishing just kind of works.
Yeah. Which is great.
You just can scale.
I don't have to change my code at all.
The view there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So that's one, issue we're dealing with. And the other big issue with this as well is, let's say you're changing a room around, trying to make it fit the map, and you realize, this room actually doesn't need to have a map size that is this big. One example could be like, this enemy room. Technically, I could make this 1 tile smaller. However, if you do that, you're going to screw up everything else because all the rooms are connected. So I'm going to if I did that, well, now we have an empty space. So what happens? Do I shift everything over? Do I make a new room? It gets hairy pretty quickly. So it is a bit of a balance in how much you can change. And that's actually brought up another interesting point about Metroidvanias is if you separate your map up into different areas connected through elevators or something like in Metroid, it actually gives you a lot more freedom in terms of making changes. If Kingdom Ruins wasn't physically connected here and has just kind of a dashed line or something, I could change the size of any of these things, barring affecting itself. I don't have to worry too much about affecting Kingdom Ruins because that connection is more just ethereal. It's not physically on this map. So you don't have to make it work every time. So that might be something we do in the future to help us out with level design potentially. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And actually I was playing some Castlevania and I felt like Castlevania's maps are not as dense. They're a lot more longer hallways and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, if then I didn't really have elevators, at least at the beginning, in a sense. The map was really big, but they just kind of, if they had to make a change or something, they probably could shift things easier because there wasn't as many connections. Where if you look a Metroid map, they're all really compact, but there's 6 of them.
Yeah.
And a lot easier for them. If they had all 6 of those in one giant map, if you just change the center, you have to change 20 rooms.
Yeah, it's a waterfall effect.
Yeah.
And actually, in Super Metroid, I did notice that there's quite a few really long and tall hallways as well. So maybe they took use that to advantage as well when designing the map, just to like give themselves some breathing room.
Yeah. It's really interesting how like the map design kind of influences the feel of the game. Like
Yeah,
it forces you to make these like long hallways, these tower type rooms,
yeah,
which feel very like Super Metroidy. But then it's
very.
like there's a reason why they did that. It's not because they just wanted to like have these towers. It's because they actually kind of have to.
Yeah,
But it works. It just works out really well, honestly.
yeah, yeah. So lots of different little things you can do to help yourself out. It's a lot more complicated than I initially thought. Um, but yeah, great new system, and it's quite expandable. So if we want to add new things, we can a lot easier, just because, um, you just keep layering on new tile maps. We have one
Yeah.
for the borders, one for the map indicators, one for like collectibles. So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah,
And if anyone's been playing the alpha and stuff, they notice this map looks a little different in terms of the rooms. There's a whole new area in here that we're probably going to talk about next time.
yes,
Working on some
spoilers.
new levels, new enemies, and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's it for this one. And we'll catch you guys at the next devlog.